All right, friends, this is a really loaded question. Somebody asked me, why am I a minimalist? Why? And it's kind of hard to fit it all into one video, and it's kind of hard to go through everything out loud, but I think I'll give you like a Cliff Notes version and we'll move on from there. So yeah, if you're interested in minimalism and minimalist decluttering type of content, you should follow this channel, subscribe, and come see me on my blog, megfort.com, or on social media, meg.fort.it. Go ahead, I'll put links to everything down below. The story of me becoming a minimalist, and I may have told this story a couple times really quickly in different videos, but I would say it all started in 2015. After my son was born. So before that, I would say I was very much a consumer. I loved name brands and I was never satisfied, always shopping for more, and it was usually like cheap stuff, cheap tchotchkes and cheap clothes, and trying to keep up with like latest trends and cheap fabrics. And it was a very unsatisfying thing because you're always like chasing for the next thing. What is next? I want more things and I'm not satisfied now. I haven't bought anything this weekend. Oh, I went to the mall and I have to buy something, you know? That sort of mindset. I wore Coach shoes and would spend extra money on purses and silly things like that. Just trying to look like I had money and status and things like that when I did not. And then 2015 came. I had my son, and I knew that that was the last child I was going to have because my pregnancies were so bad and I really couldn't do another one. So I had a girl first, and then 2015 I had my boy, and I knew that was the end. It was my last pregnancy, it was my last birth, and I knew my little family was sealed, you know? So that was a really emotional thing to know that I would not use my womb again, I guess. It was a little bit of like a mourning with the joy of, oh my gosh, I have a son and this is so beautiful. And of course the regular hormones of my body trying to acclimate from growing a child to not growing a child was a really difficult time. And then I found out my husband was having an affair in like the middle of the night, and I packed up my child and anything that I could fit in my car and just started driving away to anyone that would help, family, friends, anything. And I lived with only what I could fit in my car, a couple clothes for me, some toiletries, all of the little baby stuff like bassinet and stuff like that that I could just stuff in the car. And I lived that way for months. I didn't have a bunch of stuff, and I sort of rebuilt my life and rebuilt my emotions and rebuilt my family with no possessions, essentially. And it really flipped a part of my brain where I realized, you know, I don't need things. And I started to find joy in just living with the bare minimum and focusing on the things that mattered, the people that were in my life, the child that I was given that I need to raise and pour love into, and then the experiences that I wanted to have. It was one of those life-changing years where I said, you know, what do I really want to do? Tomorrow is not guaranteed. My whole life can fall apart at any time. I'm going to live my truth and do what I want to do. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. So if I want to go to Paris, I'm going to Paris. If I want to see London, I'm going to go to London. If I want to go to the Emmys and walk the red carpet, I am going to dream it, manifest it, and make it happen. And those are all real examples of things that have happened to me that I dreamt, that I really wanted to do, and then I just made it happen. So back to minimalism, learning to live with less and living with the bare minimum. I found so much joy in it. And I realized this, like, living in a small space with almost nothing was really easy, especially with a newborn. It was fantastic. It was less to clean, it was less to keep up with. I could literally look at everything I owned and count everything I owned. It gave me such peace, and it gave me a little bit of like stability and control, because clutter and always consuming things and always having things feels like chaos, and I really needed a strong foundation and stability in my life at that time. So I started to embrace minimalism. And as my life progressed, this is many years ago, as my life progressed and I moved into an apartment and, you know, moved around and was in the tiny house and now ended up here, minimalism has stuck with me because it really does give me that stability. It gives me clarity of mind. It gives me peace. It helps me be more productive. And it's almost like a little religion for me. I think it's fantastic, and it really works for me. Now, I'm not one of those minimalists that lives with the bare minimum. I think minimalism looks differently for everybody. Like if you're obsessed with books, that's your thing. And maybe you're a minimalist in every other area, but you have like 10 bookshelves of books. That's totally fine. Minimalism doesn't mean that you live with nothing and have no furniture and sit on the floor and wear the same thing every day. And if it is for you, fantastic. But that's not really realistic for me right now in my life with 2 kids. We have some stuff. It means that you're constantly evaluating what you have brought into your space, what serves you and what is no longer serving you. And then it also helps you evaluate what you are bringing in. So if I'm out somewhere and something's for sale, or you know, there's a nice little piece of furniture or something, I really think about it before I bring anything into my house. And I say no more than I say yes to anything that's gonna come through that front door. So that is my story. In 2019, we decided to buy an RV and redo the entire inside like a tiny house, and we lived in that. We lived in 300 square feet with 2 kids. And we made it work, and it was so much joy, and it was so fantastic. And then we moved from 300 square feet to this house, which is, I think it's huge, but it's a pretty like modest size house with like a yard and so much more to do and to worry about. So it is a constant struggle, especially with kids, to not fill it with junk. It's something I have to constantly evaluate. And when I make these videos, I'm not claiming to be the perfect minimalist, and I'm not claiming to have it all down packed, but it's definitely a journey, and it's definitely something that you have to evaluate constantly in every single space. So I would love to hear what minimalism looks like for you, or maybe decluttering looks like for you. Tell me what your thing is. Like if you collect a certain thing, or if you're like a total like, oh, I love teapots or something, or I love books, but in every other area, my kitchen is simplified, my wardrobe is simplified, things like that. I'd love to hear about it. Go ahead and put it in the comments so we can have a conversation. And if you enjoyed this video so far, and if you enjoyed me opening up and telling you my story, please like the video, click the little thumbs up, and then subscribe for more. I'll see you at megford.com for more content, a lot of travel stuff and a lot of minimalism stuff. And I'll see you on social media. Thanks for watching. Bye.